among other reasons that you could say that not every slave owner was an evil human being, even though slavery was evil, was, first of all, and most important, it was universal slavery. So the people engaged in a universal practice that they didn't even know, as bizarre as it sounds to us, like the ancient Greeks, from whom we theoretically derive, certainly the word democracy comes from the Greek word. They assumed that slavery was the natural order of life. That is what was assumed by Africans, by Muslims, by Chinese. I mean, the slavery was assumed to be a given. And where it was wiped out by our civilization, the Western civilization. Slowly, too slowly, but it was. So I gave the example, as I have on many occasions, that you could support slavery and have been a nice person, just as people supported communism, and even some people voted for the Nazi Party who were personally nice people. What does nice mean? That you treat people with decency in your private life. You are loyal to friends. You help support your family. All of these are possible and still support bad, terrible ideas. Was everybody who gave Stalin the atom bomb, all these Westerners, were they personally despicable? The sum total of their life was despicable, but in day-to-day life, some of them were undoubtedly nice. That's why you shouldn't get confused by, is a person nice? That's important, but it's not the sum total of their moral being. So here are the sophisticated folks at the Young Turks, a very popular left-wing podcast. There were undoubtedly many nice slaveholders in the South. This is not meant facetiously, again. It's meant literally.
It's Dennis Prager trying to make a comment about how there were nice slave owners in America. You know, individuals who purchased humans to force them to work for them for free and would beat them, whip them, rape them.
So
here's
an example. This is a perfect example of truth is not a left-wing value. Does she really believe, I think, that if you whipped and raped someone, you were a nice person? What about the slave owner like George Washington who didn't whip and rape and who then freed them upon his death? They of course played one sentence, not where I describe slavery as vicious, where I speak about the nice people in America who support America destroying leftist causes. They take one line and then imply, or even state, that I think that if you whipped and raped slaves and beat them, you were a nice person. This is classic. By the way, I announced last week, and I announce it again, I accept the invitation to debate her, or both of them, or 10 of them, on their show, or my show, or anywhere. Just for the record. Continue, Sean.
Now, what a great Christian Dennis Prager is. Why don't we hear more about these so-called nice slave owners?
So here's an interesting thing. Of course, I'm Jewish, not Christian. I don't care if she calls me Christian. It shows you how little they know. I'm pretty well known as a Jew. and it's they have this one line that was fed to them by some left-wing media service that monitors conservative shows, and they just go with it. They don't know anything about me. They don't know anything about what I stand for, all the good that I have done with my life. I do more good in a day than these people have done in their whole lives, reconciling parents with children, having people increase their happiness, bringing couples together through my male-female hour. So I gave it as an example on a number of occasions that you could have been nice and supported slavery, as you could have been nice and supported communism, the greatest mass murder movement in the history of the world. Nice people do a lot of damage. But that's too sophisticated for the left. If you owned a slave, it meant definitionally you were evil. Slavery was evil, therefore you were evil. As I've often noted, what we're going to have is you and I will be assessed as evil in the future, because there might be a time when everyone is vegetarian and they will say all the people who ate meat supported an evil system and were evil. But anyway, let's go back to the Dennis Prager and Christians like him. If you had been invited to one of their homes, you would have been treated beautifully, but they supported a vicious system. The left is a vicious system. It's not slavery, although the end result of all leftism is the enslavement of populations, not as in
I'm surprised they played
slave
this.
trade or
I give them
chattel
credit.
slavery, but in the diminution of human rights and liberties, which is a form of enslavement.
Fascinating argument. So first, let's address what he's saying piece by piece here, Cenk. So number one, he makes the argument that, the whole system of slavery, not so nice, but the people who
I said vicious, not
practiced that practice what was required of that system in terms of
so nice. I
having
didn't say
slaves.
the people. I said some
Those people themselves, even though they believed in that system, used that system to their advantage, they're not bad people.
Some were terrible.
They just, treated human beings as property and were vicious to those human beings.
Okay,
but
see,
they
they
weren't
make
bad
this
people.
stuff up. They make this stuff up. The woman lies with the ease that all leftists lie. Truth is not a left-wing value. I can't thank Young Turks enough for supplying me with this evidence. I mean it sincerely. It's not a cute comment. Thank you. I hope you analyze every one of my shows. Did I imply that if you treated a slave viciously, you were a nice person? Even hint at it? Continue, please.
I mean, they might invite you to their home and they'd cook you a nice dinner. They'd be super nice if you were a white American, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me jump in on that one. So if we're being super generous to Dennis Prager, he's saying, well, slavery was vicious, but even so, some of the people who participated in it were nice people. They would treat you nicely. And so don't be fooled by people being nice. Okay, so that's the most generous interpretation of what Prager is saying.
Don't be fooled by people who
look
are
at
nice.
his assumptions. Like, it doesn't even occur to him that anyone in his audience is black. Because if you're black, they would not.
Okay, so this is precious. This is just precious. Many in my audience are black. Many in my audience agree with me. I'm a Jew. I wrote a very highly regarded work on anti-Semitism. I have fought anti-Semitism all of my life. And I acknowledge that there were people who voted for the Nazi Party in Germany who were nice. Oskar Schindler, who saved 1,200 Jews. He was one of the heroes when there were very few of them, was a member of the Nazi Party. Oskar Schindler was a Nazi, and he saved 1,200 Jews. The human being is complex, not to the left. The moment you understand moral complexity, you leave the left. It's not possible to be morally sophisticated and a leftist. Do I assume there are blacks in my... You know how condescending to blacks that is? Blacks cannot hear anything that is morally complex. Oh my God, it's mind-blowing. It's such... The contempt for blacks on the left is so deep. The only systemic racism in this country is from the left. Continue, please. I thank you for this.
Not have treated you nicely. They might have literally taken you out into the back and whipped you or raped you instantly. That would not have been a very nice way to treat you, right?
That's right.
But he thinks, well, I mean, it would have been nice to me.
No,
Good enough.
it's not what
Good
I
enough, right? So that is among the problems here. I'm going to get back to his comments on the left and how it's like slavery later, because I think that's really important.
It is.
But I wanted to make one more, just one quick correction. Prager is Jewish, by the way. He's not Christian. And you would be surprised by that because he kisses Christian nationalist ass 24/7.
Okay,
Why?
hold
'Cause
on,
that's where his bread is.
So Sean is super sensitive. I would have played it. You can use the word for donkey that is also used for the human behind. It is not on the list of 7 words you can't say, but Sean is hypersensitive on this. What am I going to do? I respect him. Because it would have been more powerful for you to hear what he said. I kiss Christians' behinds. But he used the synonym for donkey. He's not the first one to say, first leftist to say, with great anger, I'm a Christian lover. This is even worse. I kiss Christians' behinds. This is priceless. I forgot about this. Yep. I'm a Jew who kisses Christians' behinds. Because I happen to think that without a strong Christianity, the country is dead. That makes me a behind kisser, a butt kisser. That's fascinating. Again, I accept the invitation. I made it first. I happily accept an invitation to go on their show, and they come on my show, one or the other, or both. But you see the honesty with which they deal with thought that they differ with. Moral complexity is unknown on the left, nor intellectual honesty. But that was a great moment. He called me a Christian bleep licker. Kisser. Sorry, kisser. Thank you. This is how they handle opposing ideas. It is so par for the course. It's a dark world, the left. All right, let me take some calls here. Ray in Livermore, California, hello.
Hey, good morning, Dennis. Thank you for your show and your wonderful staff. This argument they're making has nothing to do with slavery. It has nothing to do with good people or bad people. It has everything to do with taking out a general in the Army that preserves Western civilization, the conservative lifestyle, morals, ethics, values. You, sir, you stand at the gate. You are a guard at the gate. You are protecting the pillars that hold this thing up. And they know they can't take it down without taking a guy like you down first. So you just keep up the good work. You're exactly where you need to be.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not the only one, thank God, but I agree with that. But the attempts to take me down are so pathetic. I'm a Christian butt licker. Oh, kisser. I always got to get that right. Kisser. Fascinating. Are you an environmentalist butt kisser? Yes, folks. This is a Judeo-Christian country. And if the Christians abandoned their Christianity, the country is over. That's correct. You don't have to be Jewish. You could be an agnostic. You could be secular. as many thoughtful conservatives are, and realize that the death of Christianity in the West is its obituary.